Oh, it's windy, and I'm not sure you'll hear this one too good. I was going to go down by the little waterfall, but there's some guys fishing. This one that I'll document right now is not new. This is one I mentioned before, but it's probably 5 years ago or 4 years ago. And you say, John, in a normal community with stuff like that going on, why wouldn't you just report it to the police department? So this one is not new. I went to the main police station about 5 years ago, and there was a line of people. At that time, it's no longer like this, but at that time, the main police station, downtown Corpus, you used to be able to go in like through the front door. They had a secretary. I could even tell you another one. One time my daughter's car was vandalized many years ago. She had a Dodge Neon, and it was somebody spray painted on her car. I got off of work at Firehouse. This is probably the first time I ever went into the police station in Corpus Christi. This first occasion, then I'll tell you the other one. So I called the cops where my daughter's car was vandalized. This is 20 years ago. And I was still in uniform because I got off of work at fire department. And I said, well, my daughter's an ex-boyfriend vandalized her vehicle. And so I waited, called. We waited maybe an hour or so, and nobody ever showed up. And I called a couple times. No cop would come. So the kid at the time worked in town at like Target or Kmart, one of the stores in the Moore Plaza shopping center. So I drove to where he worked, not to confront him, but I said, well, you never showed up. I called again. I probably called about 4 times, the police. So I said, I'm now at Moore Plaza off SPID. I want to make a report because her vehicle was vandalized. I waited maybe an hour, hour and a half. I could not get a cop to come to do a report on vandalizing the vehicle. So I was mad. I went to the main police station. I'll tell you now 2 stories about the main police station. So when I walked in the front door, there was nobody there. Now I talked about this at the time. This ain't the first time. Nobody at the police station. No secretary at like the little desk when you walk in, there's windows. Nobody. I called 911 from the lobby of the police station. Now this went on, this was about 5 hours at this point, not being able to get a cop. And I said, look, and I was in my fire department uniform because I just got off work. I said, I cannot get a cop to do a report on my daughter's vehicle vandalized. And I've been calling you all morning now for about 4 or 5 hours. I said, I'm at your police station right now and there is nobody here. And the lady that was on the phone, the dispatch, said, where are you? I said, I'm in your police station downtown Corpus Christi. Right now, there is nobody here. No security, nobody. There could be people shooting heroin in your lobby. I didn't say that part, but that's how I felt. After about 10 minutes from the back, somebody they must have called and said, oh, they know now that we don't do our jobs. And so then a lady came out to the little desk, which is in the main downtown Corpus Christi police station. And then she took the report. I said, I need to have a cop. I've been waiting, I could not get one. Now that's 20 years ago. So I said, man, I know of no police station, USA, where you cannot actually have an officer when you're trying to report a crime. So I knew there was some problems. Now, the one that happened 5 years ago. I finally went down to the police station. This is when Floyd Simpson was the chief. And I had all these complaints that you hear me speak about. And then this day, there were people at the front during the day, and there was an officer, I think a Hispanic guy, but he was sitting, as you go in, he's kind of like elevated, and I guess he would take maybe the complaints of the people that were going to come in, and there was a line. And I think some people in the line were maybe there to pay tickets, possibly to go upstairs to like a municipal court, traffic court, was in that building. I don't know if it's still there. So I'm in line. Now people knew when I got to each person would tell that cop that was in there what they were there for. And they knew when I got up there, I said, I've been reporting crimes by your officers. And I gave the names. I said, and these are not minor crimes. These are assault and batteries, running people off. These are crimes. These are felonies. Now, everybody knew I was mad. I said, I'm fixing to sue your asses. Now, I want to talk to the chief, which was Simpson. He kind of laughed at me. He said, well, if you have any crimes, anything about cops, if you want to make a complaint about a cop, our procedure is you go back to the lady at the desk and you write your complaint and we'll look at it, you know. I said, wait a minute. I said, if an officer just shot somebody on the street, if I saw a cop murder somebody right now, pull somebody over and said, I said, are you telling me I would not report that as a shooting, as a crime? He said, that's right. He said, you'd have to make a complaint. This is what that guy told me. He said, in Corpus Christi, now, I'm sure, Markle, if you see this, oh, well, he made a mistake. I don't know what, you have zero discipline in your department, sir. Because that cop and the people, I was talking like this in line, and everybody else that was there realized, oh, this guy's mad. I said, so you're telling me if I saw one of your cops just murder somebody in cold blood, I don't report that as a crime? Meaning I don't call 911 and say, look, a cop just killed somebody. He said, that's right. You make a complaint over there, and we look at that. Now, I mentioned that. This ain't the first time I mentioned that. I said, I know of no city, USA, where the policy would be if an officer killed somebody, meaning you saw him shoot somebody, and you knew it was an illegal drug deal or something. I know of no city, USA, where you do not report that as if there was just a shooting here. But according to what that cop told me, in Corpus Christi, you do not report that through calling 911 as a crime. You have to wait, and if the office is closed during working hours, you just wait and you fill out what's called a complaint against an officer. So at that point, at that time, he informed me crimes committed by cops are not dealt with in the criminal justice system unless somebody else gets a hold of them. But if they're reported to the PD, they are not dealt with as a crime like you would in the criminal justice system. And that made me realize that they were probably aware of a lot of the criminal activity that was going on. It wasn't a matter of them not being aware. It was a matter of them dealing with criminal activity in the criminal element in PD as an in-house, like, work-related issue. And then over time, me looking at different sites and all, researching, I realized that that's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. So even though I couldn't get a cop for the vandalism thing, I also realized it was almost the cop that was talking to me. He was elevated and, you know, sitting like at a desk. That's now closed. You go around the corner to a municipal court area. They closed that. But I just thought that was astounding. Now, this is not the first time I've mentioned that. So, Lindsay Opal, or whatever your name is, you got actual business to deal with in this city. This one will just title police headquarters, okay?